Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of backlash going towards this one VTuber over in Japan, especially after it was kind of brought to a lot of people's attention with a ironmouse collab thingy, which again we'll obviously go into and talk about. Now, essentially, yeah, recently there's been a post that has come out talking about this clip where ironmouse talks about, finding out that the daughter sings her song, which obviously... Let's just take a look and then we'll talk about exactly what is going on because it is very interesting and there's been a lot of people mad at this.
I was on my tiny hiatus break of 3 days. I happened to stumble upon the cutest video I've ever seen in my life. So many people tagged me in it, and it is a video of Reika-chan singing my song. I want to pine body, I want to wah 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 wah. I want to pine body, I want to wah 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 wah. Everybody. And it's the cutest shit I've ever seen. I want to.
So yeah, that's essentially the context that you need, right? And Ironmouse has been talking about the fact that she's been singing a song, which is great. And obviously, I think that Ironmouse has nothing really to do with what has come next, because of course they then talk about some of the other stuff that has gone on with Otsuka and Reika, who is her daughter, right? She has a daughter that she VTubes with, and she sings songs and whatever, right? And essentially what they've been saying is this mother had her daughter sing Lolly God Requiem, a song about lollies teasing perverts as part of a fetish. I'm so tired of the blatant monetization of PDFs in this community. And obviously, yeah, they link it there. I'm not going to play it because I think it is weird and I don't want to play it. But there is proof there on this post of this happening. And yeah, I just think it is very odd because if you don't know, Lolly God Requiem is a song that has caused a lot of controversy, right? In terms of, just not just VTubing, but just kind of anime stuff in general, right? And I think it's fine, if you want to enjoy the song or whatever and enjoy any of the themes that come with it, right? And I think, it's fair enough. Anybody can enjoy it, and you guys know my stance on lollies and things. I don't really care. I don't, consume it, but I don't care, right? But I do think there is a line whenever you're, making your daughter, who is obviously, an actual child, sing this song, right? Because obviously the song has a lot of themes. For example, let's just go through the composition. They say the lyrics to the song are written from the perspective of Yuri Shigure. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. The fictional grade schooler persona, a 9-year-old Yuri, she assails and taunts imprisoned child abusers while simultaneously acting as their goddess who will lead them to salvation. Which obviously, yeah, they say represents a lot of sexual predators and her audience, which was the original playful target of her ridicule. Which of course, yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's a song that, some people enjoy and whatever, and that's fine. But I think that obviously, making your daughter sing a song, well, I say not making, but like allowing your daughter to, or publishing a video of your daughter singing this song, I just don't think it's the best look, right? I just don't think it is because, of course, yeah, this song does have a lot of those themes in it and has a lot of those kind of talking about, child, whatever's. It's just not good to be making your child sing that, I'm gonna be honest, and it looks bad, right? And I think everybody could agree with that, even people that like the song, even people that like, lolly stuff or whatever, you can kind of agree that it's not okay really for a child to be singing this song and to be allowing their child to be singing this song, especially publishing it over on YouTube, which I think is pretty crazy, right? Obviously people saying, is that small character actually a child IRL? And obviously people saying, yeah, it's a real child. There were streams back in the day when she was a baby saying, I never knew that. I thought it was some insane cringe RP stuff. Which again, if it's some RP stuff, then I can kind of understand, right? I can understand. It might be a bit weird, but again, at the end of the day, it's not like anything illegal, or even now it's not anything illegal. But again, I think it's one of these things where it's just very, very, very weird because we know that this is an actual child, right? And as I said, if it was an adult, maybe pretending to be one, then I could maybe understand, right? But this isn't the case. This is an actual kid, right? And I think it is incredibly odd. People saying, what the hell? Ooh, there's zero chance her mother wouldn't know what this song was about and know what a lolly/lolicon is if she somehow didn't know. That is still an awful move as a parent. I feel so sorry for her daughter. They say it is really the disregard of people sexualizing a daughter for monetization. A whole marketing angle is a single mother, which is fine, but not at the expense of her baby. And yeah, I think the actual idea of, you know, doing this stuff with her child and behind a VTuber model is actually a good idea, because obviously you protect your child from, you know, their faces being on the internet, but they still get to make content with you and do this kind of fun thing, which of course seems to be very popular with a lot of people, and I think that's totally fine. But I think whenever it comes to dancing and singing to this song, it's just weird, right? People saying, have you not seen how normalized this stuff that's so much worse has become in the West? It's a super catchy song with a fun dance, and it's insanely popular. Hard to keep Rika from hearing it and liking it when it's showing up all over the place, even off the internet, which I guess is true. But again, at the same time, I probably wouldn't upload a video about it, right? People saying, yeah, hell no, we're not going to cancel Otsuka Ray. She's a single mom that was left alone to raise a daughter while being physically frail by some playboy, and does VTubing as a fun hobby, and that turned into a job. She sings multiple popular JP songs, and that is one of them. And yeah, I don't think this is the case where they should be like cancelled or anything like that. I don't think this should be like the end of Otsuka Ray or whatever like that. But I do think at the end of the day, there needs to be a little bit more control maybe on exactly what songs and stuff they're covering and doing, because I have no problem with them, you know, doing all this other content. And I do think maybe it is because of, you know, what they're saying. It's a popular song potentially. But I think whenever it comes to the meaning of the song, and also, you know, the kind of model that, you know, Reika is using, I think that, you know, some people might take it the wrong way, and it then will become extremely weird, right? And I don't think that's what she really wants for her daughter either. I'm not saying that necessarily, you know, this is entirely a, you know, purposeful decision. I think that maybe this was just a little bit of an accident, or maybe she didn't really understand or whatever, which of course, you know, can also be the case. People saying, last year in Japan, I saw a group of kids singing the song, so I guess it's a nothing burger in Japan. They said, how many kids in other parts of the world sing songs about sex, drugs, and all this other stuff? Which again, yeah, I guess is true, right? There's a lot of people that sing songs about like this kind of stuff, you know, in the West. But I do think as well, you know, I think the kind of topic of the song itself, like kind of, you know, she taunts and like assails you know, child abuse. I think it's slightly different. I think it is slightly different. Like, sure, if they were singing a song that was about, you know, as they say, sex or drugs or whatever, sure, I could kind of, you know, I could understand it, because a lot of songs do tend to be about that anyways, and a lot of the time you can't really tell, right? Sometimes, you know, as a kid, you can't really tell, oh, that's what that lyric meant, right? But I think with this one, you know, it is specifically, you know, about this kind of stuff, right? As we were saying with the whole, you know, fictional grade schooler, you know, obviously taunting child abusers and stuff. I think that's a lot different to, you know, rapping about sex and drugs or whatever, or singing about it, right? Saying, yeah, I have friends growing up that clearly never thought about what the lyrics were saying, and they never really cared. And so it's a lot worse when the song is specifically about PDF and is being monetized. There's a nothing burger in Japan. These outrage tweets always come from Western people. As someone seeing kids sing wild songs back in 2000 in America, yeah, I can see that, and would be a nothing burger. It's a catchy song for the little ones. People said, why is this thread promoting fake outrage? Saying, is Grub someone important enough to care about or nah? Said nah. So yeah, obviously a lot of people have been talking about this. And yeah, I think, you know, a lot of people have been saying, oh, Rika-chan dances so beautifully. Remember, don't touch her, which again, yeah, as I said, it will invite these kind of comments, and I do think that's still pretty odd. Obviously, they're saying the first screen is obviously a joke, second screen is literally nothing, third screen is 100% creepy and should have been deleted. Still, it's a sample from a sample, and you could probably find it in any device, on any dance. Which, yeah, I mean, again, this is the whole thing, right? I don't think it's like, at the end of the day, I don't think it's like necessarily bad to dance or sing to it, but I think the fact that it's been uploaded onto YouTube, and it's essentially, you know, it does invite comments like this. Like, whenever you were kind of like putting this on to your kind of page and whenever you put it onto YouTube, I do think you were inviting comments like this to appear towards your child, right? And I do think that is something that maybe should have been thought about, even if it is, like, even if you really wanted to upload this, like, if it was like absolutely necessary to upload this to YouTube, maybe just like, I don't know, maybe like turn off the comments or something, because you like, I'm pretty sure, like, if you were to upload something like this, I would say that the chances of getting a comment like this is pretty high, and obviously it was pretty high because it did happen, right? And again, I do think it is interesting, right? And again, is that liked? Is that hearted? Again, that's a bit odd. But they're saying discourse about this song in 2026. I think it's kind of strange to have your kid as a VTuber and do this kind of stuff. I don't think it's strange for her to be a VTuber, right? I think, of course, you know, it's just the same as like family channels and stuff like that. But I think that, yeah, obviously the kind this video in particular, I think maybe was a little bit of a mistake, you know, because then oof, I'd seen her that here and there, thought that the whole thing was kind of cute. I think it was the kid immediately adopting Holly of Hololive as her Aunt Zombie. But this at best is a major lapse in judgment, which, yeah, I do think is the case, right? And as I said, I don't think it is one of these things that is essentially, you know, kind of is cancel worthy or whatever. I'm not saying people should get cancelled over this, right? I just think that at the end of the day, maybe some more kind of thought should have been put into it to kind of just protect her whenever, you know, doing a song like this, because again, it is going to attract that audience, and maybe just maybe don't do it in the first place, right? But again, people saying, yeah, I think the major issue is having an actual child singing it. Sure, people say other kids sing it and worse songs, blah, blah, blah. But this is a real life 3-year-old behind an anime model, which again, you know, obviously people are saying, you know, other kids in Japan and stuff are singing this song too, which I do think, you know, that's fair enough. But also the same thing is, right, they are singing this like in real life, right? They're not singing this online. They're not like you know, kind of exposing them to comments like this from people that are saying to not touch her despite her being literally 3 years old, which I think is crazy, right? They're saying, yes, but millions of kids rap songs about offing people is okay. At least now I know where they did all of this, which again, I do think is kind of true, but also at the same time, you know, what they say, she's like, what, 3 years old, 4 years old, or whatever. I mean, that's quite different to like a 14-year-old or not even, maybe even younger, like 12-year-old, you know, rapping to like Eminem or something, right? Yeah, I think it's a lot different of a case. I think, you know, definitely, you know, how young she is as well also factors into this, because of course, you know, she is, you know, I think she's what, 3-4 years old or whatever, which again I think is, you know, a little bit too young to be singing any kind of you know, song with any of these kind of stuff, even in the Western kind of songs as well. I feel like, you know, but of course, you know, I'm not the parent, so of course it's completely up to them. But again, you know, of course, some people have differing opinions about it. We're saying, okay, think it's been a while, but is Lollygod Requiem in English? Otsuka in Japanese are so willing to give the benefit of the doubt here in what she may have not known what the lyrics represent. But if she did actually fully go through with this, like not making a Kibs popified version for the cover, knowing the lyrics meaning Otsuka, WTF, edit a word, and obviously people say, okay, looking at her reply comments of it being a meme song in Japan, chalking it up to culture and the disconnection of the East and the West, definitely a disconnect. But cultures have their interpretations, and it's a lot like there's shit on our end to squeeze them out. Not so great, but are not on full on cancel her, which, yeah, I guess is fair enough, right? And yeah, there's been a lot of comments right behind this, and I think it is a pretty, I think there's a lot of differing opinions whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, right? People saying, using the word lolly is not a normalization of PDF. Children are not sexual, don't describe them with a fetish word, which, yeah, I do think is, you know, true to say, yeah, it's also normal. Oh, it's also, I was saying it's not, never mind, that's not true. Which again, I think obviously there's some people that are trying to push like the anti-lolly stuff as well on top of this, which I don't think, you know, should be the case. I think we should just be focusing on the fact of the actual child that is singing the song, rather than, oh, it's a lolly song and lolly this, lolly that. Like, who get, like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't care about it. But again, there's been some quotes as well. People said, like, what the hell? They said, this is the exact normalization of this nasty stuff that leads to this community, that you can spin this any number of ways, twist it into something. But mums getting their kids to sing / say out of pocket stuff is so normal. I used to sing Mambo No. 5 and my mum thought it was hilarious, even encouraged it, which I can understand, right? I can understand that, you know, oh, this was, you know, it's funny to get your daughter or whatever to sing a funny song, especially whenever it comes to, you know, but I don't know. I think whenever it's a topic, whenever she's like teasing like child abusers and stuff, I think it is. I don't know. I feel like it's slightly different. I feel like it's slightly different than Mambo No. 5. I'm gonna be honest. But hey, maybe some people have different opinions on that. We're saying, how can anyone defend this is beyond me. Imagine actually having a kind of valid point and throwing it out the window because blocking the lollies agreeing with you. Which again, yeah, I think like at the end of the day, this has become a big mess. Which again, I think I just kind of wanted to clear up. I think it's become a big mess of a lot of people being like very anti-lolly, and then obviously you got some people that are very pro-lolly, but then also dislike what is going on within the video, and within the dance and all of, and the singing and all of that. And so like it's kind of created this entire mess of people that, you know, they're on completely different spectrums, you know. Some of them don't like lollies at all, and they also don't like the stuff that, you know, Reika done. And of course, you got some people that, you know, don't mind lollies, and, you know, but they don't like the stuff that Reika's done. They've got people that like everything, got people that like nothing. It's just like it's complete mix, right? And I think it's really up to you to make up your own mind on this kind of stuff. But again, I just kind of wanted to talk about it because it has been a very, you know, as you can see, a very divided opinion, a very divided topic in terms of this, right? And you can tell by a lot of the reactions that we have been going through today, you know, throughout these Reddit threads and whatever. But again, at the end of the day, I do think that maybe, you know, of course it is slightly different whenever, you know, your child is on the internet and whatever, whenever it comes to, you know, performing these kinds of songs and things. But again, I don't think this deserves any kind of, you know, crazy like cancellation or anything like this. I think it is just one of those things where, you know, it happened, but, you know, what can you do about it? As long as it doesn't, you know, as long as it's not a common theme for this to happen constantly on the channel, I don't think there's really anything that people are going to be too worried about. But of course, it definitely is a topic that has been going pretty popular though, over on Twitter and over on Reddit right now, discussing all of this kind of stuff. And again, I do think it is pretty interesting at the moment to see how people have been reacting to this. But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.